I'm Matt Backer, and this is Just Tack.
A stalker of David,
Hair flick, got it.
trying to steal my husband even though I was dead. Of course, we work on play school together.
I felt I would never make it as an actor if I came out. I could feel my lip quivering. Be you 100%. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She knows, she knows, she knows, she knows.
Before we get stuck into today's conversation, I want to thank the official beauty partner of Just Tack, beautyboat.com. They have supported us from the very beginning, and they are stepping into this new era with us. Whether you are looking for Egyptian Magic Beauty Cream, the By Terry and Tan Luxe ranges, or their legendary Discovery boxes, they curate absolute Tier 1 products. For our long-time listeners, the legacy code is still active. Use BIN25, BIN25 at checkout for 25% off your entire order. Head to beautyboat.com today, and thank you for supporting the brands that support this platform. Good day, good day, good day. This is Just Tack and Matthew Backer. Matt and I actually work together on Play School, but his part of the screen has been a little bit different to mine. He literally quit a safe, stable career in journalism to become an actor. What a good idea. Only to come face to face with an Australian casting system that can be frustratingly, in his words, lazy. We are talking about just a few casting directors who would look at his off-screen identity and just stubbornly refuse to put him in anything other than hyper-specific stereotyped roles. So instead of just accepting that reality, he went and wrote his own award-winning short film, Die Bully Die, just so he could play the lead role they didn't seem to want to give him. We get into the brutal reality of the casting system, the crippling fear of coming out in an industry he genuinely believed hated him, and the exact audition where a casting director pulled him aside and forced him to drop the mask. We also go deep on the physical madness of doing Jersey Boys 8 times a week, the chaos of improvising 1,000 episodes of a kid's podcast called Story Salad. Also, fair warning, our producer, Peeping Tom, is wonderfully ruthless in the edit. He routinely chops out almost an hour out of these chats just to keep the pace sharp. That means he probably axed our tangent about walking into a room and completely forgetting why we went in there. I mean, why did we go in there? If you want the full, unruthless video version where nothing gets left on the cutting room floor, jump into our Patreon. And just a heads up, skip the Patreon app on your iPhone and use Safari or Chrome to sign up so you avoid Apple's 30% tax. Keep that cash for the Just Tack merch coming soon. The drop coming soon. You know what I mean. Since Matt and I spend most of our professional lives hitting marks and reading lines other people wrote for us, this show is our one chance to actually go off script. If you appreciate that, do me a massive favor and hit the subscribe or follow button on whatever app you are using right now. It costs you absolutely nothing. But it is the #1 way you can help me grow this community and keep these unfiltered conversations coming. I have no idea what accents I was running through there. All right, let's get into it. I'm Just Takaya Honda, and this is Matthew Backer.
This is like my first one.
Your first podcast?
Well, no, I've actually been on another one, but like it was about being gay, that one. But this is like my first general one.
Well, that's why you're here.
That's why I'm here.
Hello, Matty Backer. How you doing?
I'm good.
It's funny because normally for a character who came on to Neighbours as a stalker of David and trying to steal my husband even though I was dead, I'd have some antagonistic energy towards you. But because we work on Play School together, I don't have any of that. So it's great.
It's a love fest.
It's a love fest.
And I think that's what Neighbours was setting it up to be, like a big old strange warped love fest, which it kind of was.
Yeah, well, I mean, from what I hear, it wasn't supposed to be, but your wonderful performance brought so much heart to the character.
Well,
that it kept her from being too seedy.
Yeah, I think when everyone was calling me, "Oh, you're the gay stalker. Oh, you're the gay stalker. Oh, you're the gay stalker," I had to be very like, no, I'm Logan, and I've given him a whole backstory, which has made him maybe a little bit more 3D than gay stalker. So, yeah, I think I tried to twist it to give him enough, I don't know, have some empathy from the audience and not just like, oh, that's that gay stalker. Although, guess I'm happy to play a gay stalker.
Well, I was surprised because I was looking at IMDb and it was only 12 episodes, but it says 12 episodes. I'm assuming it was 12 episodes because they're generally pretty close. But it had such a big impact. I feel like from an audience side of things, there was a huge response to it. Even from talking to cast and stuff, I felt like it had it had more of a moment. Maybe it was because it was probably really the first relationship Aaron goes through before,
Yeah,
or post David and everything that he'd gone through. But you definitely, the chatter that I saw from the audience was definitely about Logan and him, and there's so much desire for something to really happen between Aaron and Logan long term, which I felt weird about because I was like, wait. They're both obsessed with me.
Yeah.
Clearly, I cannot be.
And why wouldn't you be? Of course. Why wouldn't you be obsessed with you?
Naturally, but...
No, I was quite pleased about that because obviously I was quite wary going into it with the whole gay stalker thing. And I was aware that it was the first possible, not love interest, but I don't know, flirtation interest or, a little bit of sex sell sort of thing after the death of your beloved character. So I was a little wary of that. But then, yeah, I started reading a lot of the comments too, which I actually really loved. When people like, don't read the comments, I was like, no way, this is like half the fun. And a lot of them seem to be like, ooh, I want to know more, or ooh, he's interesting or intriguing, or, comment on my work, or like the acting and whatever. So I found that really nice that I was doing a well-rounded character instead of just a cliche gay stalker in a way. Yeah.
All those classic gay stalker storylines.
Yeah.
See, actually, to be fair, you weren't the first gay stalker in my years on the show. There was Joel Creasy played a gay stalker as well. Or really just a stalker. But was in the context of being gay. I don't know if there's a specific subgenre of stalkers that are, gay versions of stalkers. I feel like they're all just the same kind of stalker, really. But
well, I wanted to definitely make him as well-rounded and complex as possible because I was aware that there had been gay stalkers on the show before.
There've been non-gay stalkers as well, just to put that out there. Like, we don't only have gay stalkers.
Yeah, but I think as like a gay actor playing a gay role on Neighbours, and soapies in Australia haven't been renowned for casting a lot of openly gay actors. I really, really wanted to make sure he wasn't just treading the lines of villain of the week sort of thing. So I was really pleased by the end of it when he left that there were still people going like, oh, I hope he does well and I wish him well and can't he come back and blah, 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 all that stuff. So that was really, really nice. And also when you're working opposite Maddie, like, as you would know, it does half the job for you.
Oh, Matthew Wilson. No, ultimately it's a commendation of your capabilities as an actor that you were then able to come in to a show and create such an impact as you did. Because, like doing a role like that ultimately is a functional thing for Aaron's character, right? You're coming in to break up Aaron's whatever's going on, and you're a function for him, and the story is about him, but you were able to come in and provide something that gave such a story to the character you held. That character then had its own foothold in the story and the lore of the show, which is impressive. So well done.
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure.
Why do you act, sir? That's what I'm going to start with.
As my profession or in my personal life?
Take your pick. I don't know.
Why do I act? If we want to get like really deep on it, which I've been doing it for like more than 15 years professionally now. On one hand, I've always been quite an imaginative child. And I think when I was younger, I wanted to be an archaeologist because of Jurassic Park, and then a marine biologist because of Free Willy, and then a meteorologist because of Twister. And I realized if I became an actor, I could be all of them. You just get the fun of it without all the years and years of study. But I think other part of it, like I look back and go, I think there's been many, many years where I really didn't like myself, and especially post high in high school and sort of after high school, and elements of myself that I sort of shied away from. But when I acted, I got to be someone else. And like, I don't know, therapists would have a field day with it, with most actors, but like we get a chance to step in other people's shoes. And I love people and storytelling. I was an ex-journalist. So I think the two professions sort of complement each other. I'm always sort of asking what is the story behind someone and how do they get to where they are. So yeah, I think that's why I act. I love humans.
Do you still feel at all like you need to be escaping yourself into another character, or you've been able to grow from there?
No, I think I'm definitely at a stage where I love myself.
He says questioningly.
Question mark?
You can say it openly.
Yeah, I do. I love myself. No, I do. I love myself, and I love what I bring to acting and bring to characters. And I've got a big heart, and I love humor and heart and horror and all the many facets of being human. So yeah, I don't think I shy away from myself as much anymore. But I think post drama school, when I was still 25 and finding myself, I think I probably did rely on acting a little bit more to sort of be a mask. But yeah, not so much anymore. The older you get, the more you just go, whatever.
Do you think the mask that you then portrayed in life ultimately was valuable to you as an actor because you just had a lot of practice?
It's getting quite deep straight out of the gate, which I love. Yeah, sometimes I've got to catch myself and go, what version am I playing with people? Like, we all have different versions. We have a version that I play with, work colleagues, to best friends, to roommates, to parents, to, strangers in the street. And sometimes I think the double-edged sword of being an actor is we are constantly on the outside of ourselves, watching human interactions and watching the way you're responding to a moment, which can sometimes get a little bit like, ooh, is this acting or is this me?
Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, that was a weird choice.
And real life isn't an acting choice. It's just,
so I think sometimes I can catch myself going, ooh, what version am I playing with this person? But I mean, don't we all do that, whether you're an actor or not?
Absolutely. It's one of the things I say to anyone who will claim that they can't act. And I'll say, you already do. You just don't know it.
We're all born naked and the rest is drag.
It's so true, though. We wear a different costume in front of almost every single person you are in front of. You wear something slightly different.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, well, I guess there's probably the few people out there who are pure narcissists who are just the one person all the time because they don't give a crap about what anybody else thinks of them. Whereas us actors who are so insecure are out there trying to please everyone. So we'll adjust. We'll adjust to you. Don't worry. What was growing up for you? Where was growing up? What was it like?
In Brisbane. It was a wonderful, beautiful, lovely childhood. I grew up in Brisbane. Mum and Dad are from Maryborough, up in Queensland, up near Hervey Bay. But we grew up in Brisbane. We were like the city cousins because Dad moved down before I was born to play football for Easts and Queensland. He played for the first 3 ever. And so, yeah, I had a beautiful childhood. Great parents, a brother and a sister. I was very theatrical. I was the middle child. So in high school, I found acting because I did the school musicals and the plays and drama, and that's sort of where I went, oh, I like this.
Do you remember your first performance?
I do. I was Oliver in Oliver, the musical.
Oh, so you started right at the bottom. You were the bush in the background, clearly. Yeah.
And it continued, clearly. No, yeah, the school built a brand new performing arts complex, which was amazing at the time. And my music teacher was like, you should audition. And I auditioned and hair flick, got it. And but that was my first acting on stage. And I can remember loving it. Like I remember smiling from ear to ear on the first night we had an audience. And then as I crossed the threshold to go on stage, something kicked in where I was like, oh, I'm an orphan. And
wow.
Had to and I caught myself. And then one night Fagin says, oh, I can see you're looking at my handkerchiefs that are hanging up. And that night I wasn't looking at the handkerchiefs. And the next night I went, right, well, tonight I have to look at the handkerchiefs on this line so he can. So, yeah, I can remember fully something kicking in.
And at what point did you go, this is really fun, and that turned to, well, I mean, you went into journalism first, right?
Well, yeah, I had a bit of a rough high school. So, not rough, just tough in terms of bullying. But so when I finished grade 12, I was still really small and I probably didn't think I had enough confidence to get into acting, but I loved writing and journalism. And so I studied that at UQ, and then I moved to the small town where my parents were from and did my cadetship on the newspaper up there. And so I finished that. And at the end of that, I was like, nah, I feel like I should do acting, and spent a year back in Brisbane doing every amateur play I could do and short film, and then auditioned for NIDA and got in.
How did you go post NIDA then? Like, what was your experience immediately leaving the school?
I left and only had 2 months off or 3 months, and then I went straight into playing Frankie Valli in Jersey Boys.
Oh, wow. With Kat Hoyos, right?
No, this was the final year of the Sydney leg before the tour. So it was with the original cast. They'd been doing it for 3 years. I walked in as a fresh grad playing the Frankie alternate. So it was like Saturday and Sunday shows plus whatever during the week. By that point, they were all taking a few shows off. And yeah, I went straight into that. But just like, it was like climbing Mount Everest every night for me, because I'd had no singing lessons. I'd never really done a dance class other than like movement at NIDA and singing at NIDA, but in an acting course. So I kind of just like fluked it and then got in and was like, what the hell am I doing? Because musical theatre is such a machine. So I sort of looked at it like a fourth year of training, because I left and just was like, far out, if I can do that, I can do anything.
It's hard to really make people who don't perform understand how tough doing musicals are. I think it's the hardest form of acting performance, is musicals, because on your body, your voice, it's brutal, and you're doing so much a week, 8 shows where you are at 150% for, an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever it is. It's insane. Yeah.
Giving it, 100% every night, because you want to like feel it. And then people just be like, you can't go at 108 shows a week. Like, you got to pull it back, otherwise you won't get through. And I think, 3 months in, the assistant director came down to my dressing room after a show and was like, are you eating enough? And I was like, I can't stop eating. Like, I'm so, and he's like, yeah, you're looking a little gaunt, because I was losing weight because I just was not prepared for the amount of it was taking on my body, the toll.
How much do you think of what you learnt through those 3 years at NIDA still impacts on how you performed, or how you turned up to Neighbours and did Logan? Like, how much is that versus what you've learnt on the job?
I think a lot of the foundation is still there. I can still hear my teachers in my ear, like Kevin Jackson, rest his soul. He really drilled into us about, the detective work into the script, and in good writing, like, the commas and the ellipses and that are all there for a reason. It's someone telling you something, and you can get clues from that. And I still hear a lot of that. Like, if I glide over a comma, I'll go like, you haven't earned that ellipse now. But on the other hand, having now done it for a little while, there's another part of you that releases a lot of that, because you have to be a bit more malleable, especially when it comes to screen work, which I've learnt.
Yeah, and I think that using the Kevin Jackson methodology, let's call it, of, every comma, every full stop, ellipses, dash, whatever it is there for a purpose. It is a change in thought or a moment that shifts things and blah, blah, blah. In a fast written drama, there are spelling errors. So whether, every comma is exactly in the right spot or not may not be the case, but it is a really interesting way to approach it as a first run anyway, and going, okay, if we take this as it is Shakespeare and then try to use that, what does it actually ignite? And if it doesn't work, then let's shift it somewhere else.
I mean, I'll never get a script for say instead for Neighbours. Like, that stuff's been written really that it's quite amazing, the machine of Neighbours and Home and Away. They're writing stuff, so many episodes a year. They have to get so much content and arcs and plots and episodes. And so the writing is churning out, but I would never just throw that out
Yeah.
because it's not Shakespeare. The clues are still in there, and you look for it enough to go, okay, well, that and that helps me, but I'm going to have to do my own work on that line because there's just not enough there for me. And so that's where you can sort of shake it up a bit. But yeah, I always tell, no matter if I'm teaching or working on something, always, try and pull as much from the script as you can at first, because someone has sat there and given you clues. And that's why we have to fight against AI. like some human has given you clues, and it's the detective work. I love it.
Once you'd stopped this theatre, well, not stopped, but put on hold the theatre stuff to move on to screen stuff, was there a moment for you where the screen work started to click and give you the same sort of feeling that theatre was able to give you on a performance confidence level?
I did prosper on Stan with you and Leslie, who I was in Jekyll and Hyde at STC. On that show, that was sort of the first character that was totally unlike anything I'd played. And I'd been doing play school for a little while, and that one, it felt meaty enough, and it wasn't a huge role, but it was in enough episodes that I sort of went, okay, there's an arc that I have to plot, and that was when it became fun. That's when I sort of started to get the taste for screen can be as fun as theatre, because sometimes when you come in for a guest role, you're there for like a day or two, and it's just so kind of isolating. No one really talks to you because you're the guest, and they've all got their thing going on, and Yeah, and you sort of want to talk, the hustle and get to know people, but you also don't want to step on toes because you're in and out. So I'd had a few guest roles over a few years and was sort of like, oh, it's kind of like, it's not very fun. But Prosper was, and Operation Buffalo, those were the two where I was on it for a fair few days and different locations and had to plot it. And that's where it becomes like theatre again, because you're plotting where you've got to be by that point. And yeah.
It always comes back to me for this thing of like I said to you at the start, why do you act? Ultimately, it boils down to for whatever reason, whether it's born from trauma or whether it's, I don't know, desire to just to keep playing. But it is this joyful thing, this love thing, this passion thing. And truly to have any kind of career in it, you've gotta have that passion, because it's just too brutal to do it for any other reason. If you're wanting to earn a quick buck, this isn't the place.
No, that's where I catch myself still and go, God damn it, I still really love it. That's where it gets kind of hilariously frustrating, because you'll have months where you don't work and you go, should I quit? Should I just move home with my parents and like save for 5 years and just get ahead finally? And then you get a job, you get one job and you do it for a few days and you're like, God damn it, I still love it. I love it so much. And that feeling I try not to forget.
Yeah, I was listening to Cowden about it, and she was talking about how like it's a repeated motif for her of, you're standing on the edge of the bridge, just about to jump off. And then you step down because tomorrow you might get a call, and then you do eventually get a call, and you're like, yes. And then you're nowhere near the bridge. And then a little bit later on, you're walking back to that bridge, staring over the edge again. And but I might get a call.
Yeah. Oh, God love us. God love us.
You wrote your own thing recently, Die Bully Die, which did fairly well from the outside that I saw. Was it the first thing you'd written?
Yeah, the first thing that I'd written that had gotten made. I'd written before that ideas and, some scripts, and I think that, ex-journalist in me, I still love writing, but that was the first thing I wrote that had gotten made and had a life. Yeah. And the life was, totally still like pinch me with it.
For people who don't know, what was the premise of the short?
It's called Die Bully Die. I think maybe you could probably pick up what it's about. It's a sort of based on
It's a romance, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, technically it is. It's based on my time in high school. I went to an all-boys Catholic school in Brisbane in the late 90s, 2000s, and I was, the theatre kid running around and got really badly bullied, me and my best mate Kaz, and it was just an awful time. And it sort of hung with us for many, many years. And then, I left drama school and clearly didn't want to be gay in an industry that wasn't casting gay actors in anything. And so that combined with high school, I just sort of, stayed in my closet and was getting kind of like "Ugh," about it. And then I came out and was so glad I did. And then years later, I sort of looked across a dance floor at Tropical Fruits, which is a queer festival. And there was someone from my high school in the year above who, memory is a funny thing. I do believe he would have yelled stuff at me, but I saw him being gay and I was really happy for him, but also kind of angry, but proud of him, but also kind of really annoyed. And I just remember that feeling of like, oh, that's an interesting feeling. And I sat with that for a little bit. And then Drew Weston, who I wrote it with, who's like one of my best mates, we wanted to write together. And I talked about this idea and he was like, that's great. Like 2 people, 1 location. Let's sort of make a short film, because we had a TV series idea about it. We were like, let's make a short film first. And that's where the short film Die Bully Die came from. And we made it with an incredible cast and crew. And then it won Sydney Film Festival at its premiere, which was like, what? Like, it's hard.
Well, you just set the bar for yourself, though. That's that's the downside of doing so well.
I know the terror now is like, oh, we don't want to make another short film because, like, how can we top that? But yeah, it had this amazing life. It won Sydney Film Festival, and then it won like, I think 4 other festivals, and won like a few audience choices. Won best screenplay at 2. Went to Hollywood, went to play places in Europe. Like, it really sort of struck this little chord. And it's not just about homophobic bullying. It's sort of, I think, people hooked into the horror comedy mishmash of genre, but also like lots of people can relate to feeling pushed down or harassed or bullied, or they were the bullier. And so it hit a really cool nerve that people, whether they were gay, straight, queer, different body types, race, people seem to just really eat it up. So it's been amazing. And we're still working on things. That's all I can say.
Would you write something that you weren't going to be in?
Oh, yeah. I definitely. But the reason Drew and I wrote it, sort of talking about casting and the Australian industry, was we've been doing this long enough to know that the types of lead roles that we want to play were not coming our way. And as 2 gay actors, we are also well aware that there are multiple casting directors in Australia who only send gay and queer actors gay and queer roles. And it's so restricting.
It's the same as being a person of color, just to
exactly. I was just about to say, like, if they only sent you Asian roles, or
you're
they
in
only
that
sent
folder.
Yeah, an Indigenous actor, like purely roles specifically dealing with Indigenous culture. Like, it's just so reductive. And they're not doing their job, and they're not thinking outside the box, and they're lazy because they get a gay character and go, oh, okay, we need some gay actors. But the thing is, we watch that role like a hawk, because then when we don't get it and we watch it on TV and it's a straight actor playing it, that's when we go, well, hang on, that means that straight actor is getting auditions for straight characters and gay characters, whereas we are only getting gay characters. So we wrote it being like, well, we want to write the lead roles that we're not getting, and that's where it came from, us playing it. But I would love to write for things that are not for myself, definitely. I kept an Excel spreadsheet before the pandemic, and I wrote down every gay role I was being sent and the casting directors who were sending it. And there were casting directors who were only sending me gay roles. And so after like the 10th one, you sort of go, okay, they're lazy. So,
but it's also this thing of too, because like I've obviously the question was raised to me about playing David, and not being gay. And initially my reactions were like, well, it initially was written as someone who was questioning. So that doesn't mean gay. It could mean a whole bunch of things. So, and with a show like Neighbours, it kind of, the actor that they bring in then informs the role quite a lot. But also beyond that, I went to thinking like, well, Also, I did a show called The Family Law where the lead actor is 13 playing a gay man, or to-be gay man, who's very out proud, big in the community.
Mm.
But I also wouldn't want 13-year-olds being asked whether they're gay or not to audition
Yeah.
for the thing, you know.
No.
But also nor would I want, anyone older either. It is that thing of like, well, then if the casting directors then are finding out personal information and then are using that personal information as an indicator of what roles then they'll assign to people, which
Mm.
retracts from the ability of the actor then to perform.
Or it's honestly like they don't even know. Like they don't even know that some people are gay, but it's almost like, oh, they're a bit mincy.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you that I've had a few roles come through to me, like auditions that, especially post Neighbours or close to, where it was a gay role. And I was saying to my agent, look, I'm okay with putting this down, but just give some awareness to the fact that I'm not gay. I don't have a problem with playing gay, but I also think there are other people out there who would be better representing this. This is, their story to tell, so to speak.
I would love the casting directors just to see a smorgasbord of people for roles. That's sort of what it is.
And to be fair to Neighbours, when they were casting David and Leo, they did just because it was an Asian casting, let's say, and they weren't sure what background it was going to be, but they did want to have two people of the same background. So both Tim and I have Japanese heritage, and they were explicit about that. And it was a really long callback process. It was only 2 callbacks, but they were long days where we were having to play both characters. And the first one, I think there was 9 of us there, and we all played opposite each other. And ultimately, I think it did somewhat come down to which pairings were of the same heritage background, because they wanted it to be true that way. Not that I really, ironically for me, I was like, that's not actually a bigger concern for me in a lot of ways. I mean, the backstory of David and Leo's is kind of really warped, because us personally as actors have Japanese heritage, but our Japanese name on the show comes from a stepfather who genetically has nothing to do with us, but somehow that's where anyway. Let's not pull that thread too much.
But truth be told, if some casting directors are only going to send me gay roles, I will be the best goddamn gay character out there.
Hey, at least you're getting an audition.
Totally. That's where you go like, well, all right, I'm going to be the best gay character. You don't ever turn your nose up at it.
How did your parents feel when you said you were doing the journalism thing? You went, you know what, guys, I'm going to go audition for NIDA.
Absolutely. Just yep, cool. Yep, do it. Great. You got in. Cool. It's been great. It's been fun. It's been an experience, but I need to act. Literally, I think that's what I really like about myself. I can be pretty hard and fast, resolute in some decisions, and then some decisions I'll take a while in. But most of them, when it comes to my life, I'm pretty no, I want to do that.
This is a personal question, but were you out when you did that?
No. I wasn't out at drama school, and it took a good few years post that. Yeah, I was sort of I guess when say came out, sort of class it as telling your friends and family. But I'd met someone who was a man. I'd had girlfriends, before that, and who I, one during drama school who I loved, but sort of always knew. And then I think I wasn't letting myself, because I really didn't want to be a gay actor in an industry that felt like it hated us. And then I met someone who, just sort of rocked my world and was like, oh, I'm seeing someone and his name is, and that's what it was. And I was 30 when I told my parents, and they, again, with journalism to acting, they were like, well, my dad just got up and gave me a big hug, which is the perfect reaction. And mum was just sort of happy for me that I was seeing. I think happy for me that I was seeing someone finally, because it had been
finally you met someone.
Yeah, it had been a few years, and it was just oh, okay, and then that was that.
Did you go into that with trepidation? Were you worried at all about the response, or were you?
I mean, this might be a whole different podcast, but I think talking to them and probably why it took so long was a combination of high school and being gay in an industry that wasn't conducive to gay actors in 2010 and post that. There really was no one to look to, or I felt I would never make it as an actor if I came out.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of self-hate mixed with there's no place for me if I'm gay.
Totally. And so it was nothing to do with my parents and my family. I knew they would be like, oh my God, we love you and we support you no matter what. It was not wanting anyone to know because I really wanted to make it as an actor. And high school was a little damaging to your sense of self. And then I got to sort of my late 20s and was so tired of like not being truthful, especially with friends and family who were sort of like, Matt, come on. And then, I met someone who just was like, oh, what am I doing? Like, yeah.
After you'd come out, you'd then gotten the next role, your audition or whatever it was, and you just felt a difference?
To get really honest, in the year before I met this someone, a casting director actually pulled me aside, one of the great ones actually, and I'd been helping out being a reader, and then she was like, why don't you put a scene down? And I was like, okay, it was like a workshop. And then she took me outside and after everyone had left and said, what's going on with you? And I went, what do you mean? And she was like, I just feel like you come in and do good auditions. They're fine, but they're fine. They're not really like exciting. And we saw you at NIDA and we remember you at NIDA and you were like on stage and you were vibrant and blah, blah. And now you do auditions that are fine. And I just was like, I could feel my lip quivering and going, I don't know what you mean. And I was like, she's seen right through me. She's seen right through me. And I was trying to be like the ripped jeans and, talking down here. And like, I think I need to, even though I didn't smoke, but like smoke 2 packs a day. And like, you got to be like Chris Hemsworth. And it was constricting my acting and my choices. And I think she just saw right through it. And she just was like, you need to like get to know yourself and like come and be you, because we want Matt Backer, not this version of yourself. And I remember walking home just going like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, she knows, and had a full freak out. And then a few months later, I met someone and was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And after that, it was like the chains had been taken off, sort of like as gay as that is. But it sort of was that, like the work, I was less afraid to bring myself to the character. And once you do that, your auditions are unique and they've got idiosyncrasies that are inherently you, and you're not trying to be this, which you think you have to be in Australia because we have such a blokey, like, mask sort of culture a lot of the time. And so the minute I started just being Matt, the more work I then got. Yeah.
I love the poetry in the idea that one of the things that was holding you back from embracing yourself, let's say, was this fear that the industry wouldn't have a place for you if you were open about it. And the gatekeeper, one of the gatekeepers for that industry was the person to see through you, instigate that within you. And then by doing that, then the industry opened up for you in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it did in multiple areas. I think like that's why I've excelled at Play School too. I'm so, as you would know, I'm proud of Play School because of its like beautiful diversity and its joy in saying, be you 100%. And we've got writers and producers and directors that really go, Matt, do what you want with that. And so I've always treated it like as close to SNL as I'll ever get, because I get to just be all these multiple silly versions of myself. And some of them are like really camp on national television, and I revel in it. And that wouldn't have been there if I hadn't have truly got to know myself. So it's like, it is a double-edged thing. On one side, I've blossomed and the industry is like been amazing to me and I've worked consistently in multiple different areas and roles. And then you just have to acknowledge, on the other hand, the industry can still be a little like that to queer people or people of different races or abilities. And so it's a constant.
And we're actually in retraction at the moment, you know? There's no longer the scripts coming through or the auditions coming through at the top that say, you know, please send any ethnicity. They've reduced dramatically because of the politics of the time, you know?
The seesaw is just seesawing. That's what it is. And you have to acknowledge the good with the bad, and that's just life.
Yeah, but ultimately we've moved forward, like you said.
Totally.
And I'm totally in agreement with you with Play School. I mean, have we only done one ep together?
Yes, which is a travesty.
Travesty. But man, I watched that episode. Like, I let Ari watches. The only thing he's allowed to watch. He's 17 months, and people will say he shouldn't have watched anything at this point. But we let him watch Play School, and that's the only thing.
Yeah,
and
of course.
But I watched that episode of ours, and even just the feeling of it, because you know, every other presenter you work with creates you have a different chemistry with each of them and different level of energy. And I think we both bring a similar kind of energy to the screen. And you watch that, we're like going so hard, and it's so fun.
But I think also a little bit of tidbit behind the scenes gossip for like the Neighbours fans out there. But like, we filmed that episode after you had you'd finished, I think, and I had finished Logan, and so we were coming together, and the energy I felt was like, oh my god, this is so strange because I've just spent like 3 months with like Maddie, and now I've got you, and so I definitely felt the energy of like, yeah, I'm finally with David.
The guy you were trying to stalk is finally here.
But we're there in like block colors and toys. I found it very funny. That's why I love that episode too, because we're so silly in it. Yeah. I love a presenter that's going to like a tennis match with me and throw some silliness and jokes in there. I call it like the Disney Pixar humor, because it's enough humor for the kids, and then like every third or fourth joke is for the adults.
Yeah.
Where it's like an in-joke, or it's sort of like a reference, or that's the stuff I love, because I know like, my cousins and my brother and sister, and they're watching it and you're watching it with the kids. You sort of want the parents to be watching it and not on their phone. So yeah, I love presenters that are just like, oh my God, yeah, let's camp this up.
I love the characters. When they give me some crazy costume. I was a tree in one with Zinzi. Oh, it's so fun. Pretty much every time the director comes up, the voice just like pull it back a little bit. I'm like, no.
That's why I love like Emma Palmer writes for it, and Carlo Ricci, and like they know that I love a told story where I have to play 3 different characters in the one thing. So I'll be like, yes, I get 3 different wigs. And so that I always love that, because I'll be like, yes, Emma knows that I get to play 3 different people in this one. Yeah.
So good. I saw a thing. You've done like 1,000 episodes of
Story Salad.
Where did this come from? Because I know that I also saw that you'd studied at United Citizens Brigade and Second City, which are LA and
New York,
and they're, for everyone at home, like the improvisation comedy places to learn in the world. And you went to both of them. What, you finished one and were like, I want to do the other one now?
Yeah, I got a grant years ago to go study at UCB in New York. So I did the 2 levels of that, and then went and did Second City for a little bit in LA. But yeah, Story Salad has like totally off the back of that just been so much fun, because it's ABC Kids podcast, which started sort of pre-pandemic, and then the pandemic was where it really kicked off, because we were doing a new episode daily. So it gave parents and kids something to tune into. And it's me and another host. We get 3 words from the kids, and we have to use those 3 words to make up an improvised comedic story on the spot in 3 minutes. So they are loose. And when you've done 1,000 something of them, like the stories I've put on air are just gone, what? Where did that come from? Like, they're just so nuts. But it's so much fun, and the kids just seem to, love the stupidity of it. So it's...
And are you recording those like back to back to back in one block, or are you doing them?
We used to. So back in the day, we would come in and you'd do like a 3-hour, 4-hour session, do like I don't know. Oh, no, maybe 2 hours. And you do 20 in a row.
That's so intense.
And I think Alex Paps, we did one day where we tried to do a full day of it. And we got to 2 p.m. after lunch. And I was like, I don't think we can do this ever again because I'm about to jump out that window. Because it's just like, welcome to Story Salmon, where you're just coming up with different improvised stories, and by 5 hours of it, your brain turns to mush. It's quite scary how quickly your brain just goes, nah.
That would, but I mean, you're using like peak brain at that point. Like you have all faculties firing on full to be improvising in that way, but also managing it in this is a kid's environment, but also only in 3 minutes. So it's quite a short time actually to get a start, middle, and end in.
Oh, yeah.
Like
it's so much fun, but there's only so much coffee you can drink in a day. Trust me.
You're in the F Ward, which is coming out. Are you playing one of the interns?
I am the head triage nurse. So, yeah, I'm basically the scary head triage nurse that tells the interns what to do every episode and is kind of over their shit before the episode even begins.
Have you watched The Pitt?
No. Oh, yes, The Pitt. Yeah. I love it.
Oh, my God. And I feel like in your role, perhaps you wouldn't have it as bad. But the medical jargon, like I had to do a little bit on Neighbours, but like on The Pitt, it's next level. Did you have to do much of that on F Ward?
A tiny bit. They had to do more of it because they were more in the ward and I was in my little window telling which patients were coming through. But yeah, enough to be like, oh yeah, I can get a sense of like, that is tricky stuff. But like, I wanted more of it.
I would take stuff to my doctor friends, like scripts from Neighbours, and go, how would you say this? Or how, in reality, you say, I wouldn't say any of that because everything's abbreviated. Because they don't have time to say the full words of everything, so it just becomes letters.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, that doesn't help me because I can't really change it. They need me to say these things.
Yeah.
But then you watch something like The Pitt and you're like, oh my God. Time spent learning, making these, and it's all done in these big one-shots and stuff is.
Yeah. Well, but see, circling back, talking about at the beginning, going like, Free Willy maybe want to be a marine biologist and blah, blah, blah. We got to be on set in like this, this makeshift hospital that they made and stuff. And I was sort of spending weeks there being like, God, in another life, I reckon I would have loved medicine.
Yeah.
And that's where I went like, that's the first time I've felt that in a long time, not just from the playing of it, but from my own research into it and like, talking to nurses and like I've got friends who are doctors and that's the first job where I went, oh, maybe that's in another reality. I became like a doctor and probably would have earned a lot more than I earn as an actor. That's for sure.
What's coming up for you then? F Ward, did you say it has come out or is coming out?
July 17th, I think, on Stan. Yeah. What's coming up? Play School Story Salad is still going. We're working on Die Bully Die the series, which is exciting. Drew and I are, hustling with that. And I just finished filming Emma's Dance Club for ABC, which is Emma Yellow Wiggles' new amazingly beautiful series. It's sort of, for like the round the twist age, but set in a small town where she opens up a dance club and it's the shenanigans going on in that town. So that's been really fantastic.
Wow. So it's a series.
Scripted series, yeah. I play Brady the Tradey.
So good.
Typecast.
That's why you had the beard growing longer,
that's
right?
it, and the mullet going on. But it's going to be magical. It's I think it's going to be a really beautiful series. It's very Mary Poppins, Matilda, Paddington sort of vibes.
Cool.
And Emma is divine. You can see why kids just love her. She's beautiful.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a success. So I look forward to seeing more Brady the Tradey.
Hopefully I get an action figure,
Oh, that would be cool. That's got to be a bucket list thing to have a figurine of yourself.
If it was Brady the Tradey, I would lose my mind.
That's very, very cool. Well, Thank you very much.
Thank
Matthew,
you.
for joining us. That was a lot of fun.
Pleasure. I hope it was. And yeah, nice to see you through the screen. If not, hopefully on the set of Play School one day soon again.
Yeah, well, I'll stop recording now. We can talk about whether we have similar dates coming up.
Okay. Thank you.
And that was Matthew Backer. A massive thank you to Matt for coming on and being so incredibly open about his journey from journalism to NIDA and refusing to let a casting system define his career. Make sure you check him out as the new terrifying head triage nurse in the new medical drama The F Ward on Stan. And if you have kids, keep an eye out for his turn as Brady the Tradey in Emma's Dance Club. If you are wondering where our tangent about forgetting why you walked into a room went, unless Peeping Tom kept it in, which he may have, I don't know yet, he clearly thinks your attention span is garbage. To prove him wrong and get the full uncut video, jump into our Patreon. Plus, keep an eye out for our exclusive merch drop, which is hopefully dropping very soon. It's dropping soon. Since Matt spends so much time talking about how hard it is to break out of the boxes the industry puts us in, the best way you can help Just Tack break out of the algorithm box is by hitting that follow or subscribe button on whatever app you're using right now. Just do it, or should I say just tack it? All right, that's enough. That is it for this week. I will see you next time. That was Matthew Backer, and I am Just Takaya Honda.